about?
I think I haven't hit record yet. No worries. Um, I guess I want to hear about any also like hard times and how you overcame them
Hmm.
because we started this series kind of in May when the pandemic was really like people were like, okay, this is serious, and that's when we started it.
Hmm.
And we started it because students were losing their jobs, their internships. And
Hmm.
so then we started
Yep.
talking to people who graduated in a recession or also lost their
Hmm.
job. So other people who've experienced that, so students can listen to their stories and be like, all right, yeah, we know life is hard. Like we can get through this. And so they can have anecdotes and stuff like that, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to hit record and then I'll basically just say good morning or good afternoon if you're on Eastern time, and then I'll pass the mic to you to introduce yourself, and then we'll just go from there like a conversation.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll get a notification when I hit record. All right. Hey, welcome to Life's Not Linear. My name is Tara, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Patty Matthews. Patty, could you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Absolutely. This is great. So, I basically have been in learning and technology and development for a long time, like training. And so, actually, my journey kind of starts with not doing well in college. I was one of those people that kind of didn't have a lot of direction. And so, basically, spent some time in the work world and was able to kind of latch on to those education dollars that a lot of companies provide for. So I was really happy a little bit later to basically get through my bachelor's. And then I actually stayed after 13 years of getting my bachelor's to getting my master's in business. And this is from somebody who's more, I love art. I love watching art. I love Christmas lights. So you can kind of tell where I'm thinking a lot of the time. So I was really fascinated by the fact that I could get through my MBA, knowing I have kind of more of a creative brain. So put that to work now. I basically went into financial companies, spent time just always doing sales and training and loved it. Like, love bringing the energy to people, and to be able to be on like a webinar with 500 people and they're kind of learning about something new about the business. It's crazy, but it's at the same time you have to do your due diligence to get them to how they can sell things and things like that. So I think with learning and development, you always have to kind of mold to the people that you're teaching. And then at that point, it was went through what most people go through. They exited me from the business. They were going different directions. And you kind of really have to pick up your boots and kind of figure out what's next. And I think and stop me if there's anything that I'm running on too much about. I think one of the interesting things that a friend had said to his wife, he came over to my condo to work on my bathroom. This was during the time that I was out of work. And he said to his wife, for somebody who's unemployed, she's awfully busy. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's one of the funnest comments I've ever heard. But I think what was really important was to stay the focus on life and stay the focus on looking for a job. So literally, one of the best tips I give my friends is I would just apply on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's it. I gave myself the levity on Monday, Wednesday, Friday to like go grocery shopping, have coffee with people, see people and network, because that pressure to apply is way too much. So it worked, and the time frame came, and I started at my next company, and basically kind of said, "This is great, but I think I want to move on to more," because it was a real small company. So started looking again. Didn't really want to leave because I get very attached to the people I work with, and just got a new opportunity, a big company. I've always worked for these large corporations, and I thought this was the biggest one I was going to. Oh no, the current company, Verizon, is the biggest one I've ever worked for. But I think the key has always been always being leaning in and learning has been so important to me because, I don't know everything I've ever worked for. I mean, I worked in 401k plans, and here I was, I learned all this information. So I'm still to this day very open to what's next. Actually, this morning I was starting to learn Visio, which is kind of a software that helps you go through a decision process, and it can help people when you work on projects. So I just think that was key to how I survive any of the dips in my career, because I've had other times where I didn't have positions. And I'm one of those people, like, I don't want to go down with the ship. I would rather figure out what's next. And it may take some time. And I network with people. And when I say network, I like to go have coffee and laugh. So I'm not a big formal, let's go for a CEO of a company networker. My theory has always been, you never know who knows someone. So once I last time bumped my ego out of the way, I thought I didn't have an ego. Turns out I did. So it was really nice to just reach out to people and say, think of me, here's my resume. And a lot of times the jobs were not for me, but you never know. I mean, my sense of just kind of like keep your eyes open. And this last one was, my boss interviewed me, and I've never had an interview just over the phone and hired. I was like in shock because I'm ready for the suit. The makeup's ready, the hair is ready. I've been practicing. And when I asked my manager now, like, what? Like, how did you pick me? And he's like, I just got a sense. I got a sense of what I was looking for, and I had seen your background and things like that. So I guess that's another thing I like to say is bring you out, because I do a lot of reading, and we're all so unique, and we all bring such different things to the table. As I've gotten to know my peers, I kind of like to know what they're into, and it's just really nice to see, like, be yourself, come to work, be yourself. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it's really true. We're never going to kind of move through our bumps in the process of working if we can't really spend some time getting to know each other. So there's just been some really good lessons along the way. So that was probably really long-winded, but
No worries. That was great. First of all, that's awesome. You got hired right off of a phone interview. You should feel like you crushed it.
It was crazy. I was like, what? Doesn't anybody want to see me? It's like, no, it was based on skills, personality, and everything that they'd seen in the screening I'd been through. I was really thrilled. It was such a great way to get to a new position.
Yeah, I'm so glad about that. And so one thing I want to ask about is I love that you said, okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays are when I apply, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. How could you talk a bit more about that? Like how you decided that? Was it super helpful? Like what did you feel after you did that?
It's, the worst thing for me was waking up on Monday and thinking, so keeping a routine Monday through Friday was great. But what it did was it lightened up my weekends too. Like I could go swimming at the pool and things like that, and not feel guilty because you're unemployed. So the Tuesday, Thursday was, LinkedIn. I went and had somebody professionally do my resume. And why I say that is because I help people with their resumes. And I thought, Patty, you cannot move into whatever's next by just, looking at your same old resume. So I paid the money, and it was great because I got, cut and paste version, and I got the formal one that looks great on a piece of paper. And it really helped a lot for me to separate it out. So I felt proud being able to get my resume out or cut and paste into whatever I had to apply to. So I stayed busy all day, Tuesday and Thursday, and I would take interviews then. And then I would also, if I had to on a Wednesday, great, because of somebody's time frame. but it meant on Wednesdays I could take it a different course. Like I could clean the condo, I could go grocery shopping, I could go meet somebody for coffee, and it took the pressure off because I'm one of those. I do absorb it and I worry and all that good stuff, and it just kind of helped my worry process out a lot to just say, let's stick to this. And like I said, I've kind of asked a couple friends, why don't you try this? And it did work for them. It was so great to hear because you don't have to worry 5 days a week. It's not worth it. Just keep yourself constructive for 2 of the days at least when you're applying for jobs.
I think that's a really, really good tactic for students to hear too, especially because they're overwhelmed. Who knows what's going on? And then students who, if they recently graduated and they're unemployed, I think a lot of people are just scrambling. So I think that this is something that they can like tangibly hold on to, which is awesome.
And it's we know how, you guys know how to do this. You know how to properly apply for jobs. But like I said, I would meet with anyone because I kind of went through a say yes, like the Shonda Rhimes book, just say yes. And, I met a couple people. I went to some lunches. I'm not saying everything panned out, but it also forced me to be social. And just, here I am sitting at a table with 10 women that are employed and I'm unemployed. So how do I position myself authentically when I'm talking to people? And a lot of times it's, I really am looking for an opportunity, and this is my passion, and this is where I'm at in life. And being a learning professional, I think there's automatic passion that ekes out of your pores because you love your audiences and you want to help them learn. So it's always bringing that forward. And I always get that compliment, it's like, Patty, you're so, I know I just have I'm lucky. I know one of my natural talents. And another thing I was going to say, this is volunteering. I myself am 23 years volunteering for an arts festival here in my hometown. Right. That's crazy. I can't paint. But what I did was I really integrated myself into how can I help these people out while they roll into my town and they're coming from New Mexico. And I ended up building up this team. I look at the festival director and say, what do you need? I was able to manage 13 people without getting paid for it. Yeah, that's a lot of volunteer experience right there. But I think that that's what taught me also get those skills through volunteering that you love. And to this day, I still enjoy the experience. We didn't have a festival last year, obviously, but I really miss my team. I miss those artists that are willing to get in their cars and drive clear across the country and sell their stuff down on our riverfront for 3 days. And I have a really great team I have some introverts that I've really brought out. I mean, I take a lot of pride in that. So as much as you hear about volunteering, it's really about a passion for it. And still can't believe I'm still doing this 20 some years later. But we really, we get compliments, we work hard, and my team is all volunteers. So I respect what they're bringing to the table and what time they want to put in. So I've gained a lot through that. I mean, to be able to manage people, manage resources, be able to work with artists. They've put me on interviews and all that kind of stuff. So you just never know what kind of an opportunity can come out of volunteering. So big passion for that. Can you tell?
Yes, I can totally tell. That is incredible. That is a lot of volunteering. But I think that that's a big thing, in high school and in college, they push volunteering and they say, volunteer. But I think that there is different types of volunteering and like what you want to get out of it. You can just go and, you can serve some food, or you can set up like a whole, part of a festival, like manage people. So I think that there's different skills you can get out the different opportunities. So,
and you gave your time. It's very valuable. So the person who you kind of report to or talk to really needs to be appreciative of your efforts, because that's how I've kept my team. They just keep coming back. I'm like, why are you guys doing this? We love this because we've made it fun. And we've made it a really good experience for the team. And we work on a committee of like, there's probably almost 70 or 80 people to pull this whole festival off. Yeah. So there's a lot going on at any time. And like I said, I can barely paint. And for example, one of the things I'd love to get going is we've been talking to somebody who helps do art within a prison system. And, if I have my goal, I want to see if we can get the prisoners' artwork out to sell, because some of them are getting released and they may have an art career that's unbeknownst to them. I'm actually going to get interviewed by a young man on Thursday. He's from Uganda, I believe, and we're going to talk about his painting that I bought of his. And he wants to talk about art. I'm like, okay, this sounds sweet. So just a big passion for helping artists along, because that's a career as far as I'm concerned. And how can I make it easier and help them out? Because where I'm good at is good project management. So bringing my skills, developing my skills, and then helping others along. Invaluable when it comes to volunteering. Invaluable. Can't say it enough.
That is incredible, like the prison system, and I think that bringing in art would really help more rehabilitation. And also the fact that if they can start selling before they get out, then they can start saving money before they do any of that.
It.
But there is one last thing that I want. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say there's passionate people in the prison system that help bring that along. And it's nice to connect with people like that, to know that they see it too.
The last thing I wanted to ask about is, so it took you 13 years to do your bachelor's, correct? I would love to hear about that, because I didn't finish my bachelor's on time in the 4 years either. And there's so many kids I went to school with who, even if they just went one semester over, they were like, oh my God, I'm a failure. So,
oh no,
tell me.
Please. If I meet people that say they went long, I'm like, I bet you couldn't beat me. I think the reason was I didn't have the confidence. I grew up in a family of large kids, and it was kind of like, you know what, let's start making some money and work at Wendy's. That was kind of the attitude. So kind of getting my confidence going, seeing these programs where companies will sponsor you to take college classes. And I actually went to a very large university here in Columbus, Ohio. And they at the time didn't have much nighttime stuff. Well, I needed to work. So I went to a different college locally, and he looked me in the face and said, Patty, you've got about 2 years left and then you're done. I was like, what? I heard that magic word. Well, I'm now on an 11-year journey. I still had 2 more years. But it was worth it because I finally did find what I wanted to do. And then when I told people I was going on to my master's in business, they're like, you've lost your mind. I was like, let's just keep going. We're on a roll here. So I'm very proud that I got to walk out with my MBA. But it was a journey. Some of us weren't cut out for 4 years. We just take a little longer, and very proud of that. So, yeah. If you can find somebody that took longer, I'd love to know them.
No, right? No, you definitely should be proud of that. I think the longest I've met was 11 years. So you got it still. You got it. But
excellent. Excellent.
So first of all, that is incredible. You should be proud. And
thank you.
Kind of reflecting on that experience, the last question I'd like to ask is, what is a piece of advice that you would want to give to students who are maybe also like unsure of what they want to study or what they want to do, or don't fit the 4-year track?
You know what? I think I was one of the first ones that would not take community college seriously, and I went there and was forever grateful because the counselors were helpful. I met nighttime students because I was a full-time working person. So I think consider the alternative. consider the online classes. That's the trainer in me. Take advantage of where you're at, of things that you can stretch yourself on or learn, or, remember, a skill's a skill. I volunteered and I'm managing 13 people. Okay, got it. So I think it's always that, just hang in there. Look for the alternatives to help you get where you need to be. Because some of us aren't traditional. We're just not. We weren't born that way.
I completely agree. Thank you so much, Patty, for sharing your journey with
Absolutely.
us. Yeah, this was a
So
pleasure,
fun.
and you've given like such great advice. I really
Oh,
appreciate you being on today.
just happy to be in this position to be able to do